If you want to change culture, do what the books say. Get your vision. Make sure you have the right behaviors. Make sure you measure. Make sure you have those influential leaders around with you. But most importantly, know that you're going to need to change. Because what I have found that when I change, my entire environment changes. In organization, you might hear the words, "Oh my God, my life sucks." Has anyone ever heard that before? That's level 1. And you can't get out of level 1 if you have a leader that's saying, "Our life sucks." If you have something that you really want to understand, go deep. Bring people from diverse backgrounds, diverse education, and just allow things to blossom. Innovation is a skill and it can be learned. And with practice, it actually became a part of me. And then every business I ran after that, I went into it with the eyes of innovation. It's really nice to be here today. And, when I speak, of course, maybe all of you write it all down, you try to memorize it, and you get in front of a group, and whatever comes, comes. And when my son Ryan was rapping, which I had no idea, that's when everything comes. So Ryan has made, and I hope I don't cry when I say this, a material difference in my life, truly. And to see him sing with his own material, it definitely put tears in my eyes. And today I have the pleasure of talking about innovation, which has also made a material difference in my life. And I've been really lucky in my career that I've had 3 different opportunities to experience innovation in different ways. And the first of them started in March 2011 when I joined a company called Saint-Gobain as the Director of Innovation Processes. And so the first story that I'm going to talk about is called The Essence of Innovation. So a little bit about Saint-Gobain. So Saint-Gobain is a French-based company, large, global, and they make construction materials. So like in this room, the walls, the roof overhead, insulation in between, most likely are Saint-Gobain materials. But they also make very specialty materials, which you probably don't see, but when you're at home, in a car, hospital, restaurant, etc., believe me, Saint-Gobain materials are there. And I joined Saint-Gobain not because I was an expert in innovation by all means. In fact, I didn't even feel like I was innovative nor creative. But there was a guy named Tom Kaniski, and he and I shared a vision. And our vision was that we wanted to create an environment where every person, every day, can be themselves and can innovate, and where it was okay to learn and fail and learn again. And the main premise was innovation and creativity. It's a skill, and it can be learned. And with practice, we hoped that it would become part of our core competency in our organization. And so, over 3 years, myself and a team of 3 people, we created tools. We created tools for the individual so that the individual can be creative every day. We created tools for business leaders so that they could take what they're really good at and create their strategic direction. And tools for teams so they could simply go out and talk to customers in a very natural way. We did this over 3 years, again, and what we found I felt was phenomenal. So yeah, our business grew. It grew more than it ever could before. But the cool thing is, Tom and I started to be recognized actually just a few years later in 2013 as master innovators. And then in 2014, we actually went from reading books to being in a book. So that was really, really cool. But for me, my takeaway from that experience was truly innovation is a skill and it can be learned. And with practice, it actually became a part of me. And then every business I ran after that, I went into it with the eyes of innovation. All right, so that's my first story. And my second, it starts, and it's March of 2014, and I'm the general manager of, I'd say, a very complicated sealing component business. And I'm not quite very mechanical, so I was a little nervous about starting in that business. And this business really hadn't grown for 10 years. And I found myself in a room with a small group of diverse people, and we were doing what we call a core competency session. We really wanted to figure out, what's the heart of us? What are we really good at? And then how can we grow from there? So imagine we're in this room, there's sticky notes all across the wall. And in one corner, there's all these things about what we think customers say about us, or competitors might say about us, or people that want to buy us, what they may say about us. And we're all walking around the room, we're talking, we're connecting, we're leaving space for one another, and we're really just trying to figure out what is it that makes us so special. And I remember all of a sudden this engineer said, "Oh my God, I've got it." So we are that critical material that makes a difference for our customers. Because when our material fails, their entire system fails. And these systems are so critical that when they fail, it's catastrophic. Like a spaceship that explodes, or an undersea oil vessel that spills, or an airplane whose engine malfunctions. And we're so good at designing these parts, and we will not stop designing until we have solved the problem. And of course, we knew that customers paid a lot for that too. So we were like, wow, that's it, that's who we are. And that aha set our strategic direction. From there, we actually organized our entire business around these critical applications, and another team that found new critical applications. And our business grew like we'd never imagined. And today I hear it's still growing at the same rate. And so what I learned from that story is that for me personally, and I would recommend to all of you, don't stop at the surface. If you have something that you really want to understand, go deep. Bring people from diverse backgrounds, diverse education. Leave space, leave a safe space, and just allow things to blossom. And when you do get that aha moment, grab onto it, shape it, and just move forward. So, end of story 2. Oh, and I'm telling 3 stories if I didn't let you know, so just one last story. And this story is a story of culture and of leadership. So it is now July of 2018, and I find myself in the position of being promoted to President of Life Sciences within Saint-Gobain. Now, this business made fluid transfer systems that went into industries like biopharmaceuticals, medical, industrial, and it was a really good business. I think it was, financially, it was very solid. But what I saw is the soft metrics were going in the wrong way. So we had our incident rate, our safety incident rate was really high, and our employee and our customer numbers were very low. And I saw a business that was divisive, it was siloed, and even on my own team. And what I thought to myself is, this is not an environment that, although this business was growing, this is not an environment for innovation, and it's not going to be sustainable. And I also had no idea what to do. And so, like many of you may do, I found someone on the outside. And years before, I'd read this book called Tribal Leadership. Has anyone in the room read this book? Okay. I'm I'm really a fan of this book, because what tribal leadership says is that in every culture, there are groups of around 20 to 150 people They're tribes. And these tribes are influenced by the tribal leader, this unspoken leader. And in order to change a culture, you have to understand the tribes. And the only way to change that culture is if the tribal leader changes. And so I thought it was just the coolest thing. And so I contacted the company behind tribal leadership named Culture Sync. So what did Culture Sync do? Well, first they worked with myself and our team. They created a really safe environment. And we were able just to bring up stuff. Because at the time, our team was very divided. So we brought up a lot of things. And it wasn't very comfortable, but we did it anyway, and it was out in the open. And a lot of these things that were brought up, it were the behaviors that we were having towards one another. And so then they took us through another exercise in which we took these behaviors and we did what you call an invented future. We said, if we keep doing this over and over again, what will happen? And what we saw is a business that was on a spiral. It was going downward. And there was no way we were going to bring it back. And we said, oh my God, I think we need to change. And so then we got together and we said, all right, well, what do we do? And with them, we set our vision. We set a vision for the future and also the behaviors that we would need to take in order to make that vision come true. Then we work with Culture Sync to find within our organization who were our other tribal leaders. We brought them all together. They went through the same exercises, and they came up with exactly what we came up with, give or take. But one of the other things that we learned in tribal leadership is that within our organization, there's 5 levels. So these tribal leaders that, again, we had identified, you had to kind of understand where they were. So I'll just kind of bring it through. In organization, you might hear the words, oh my God, my life sucks. Has anyone ever heard that before? That's level 1. And you can't get out of level 1 if you have a leader that's saying, our life sucks. All right? And if you have a culture that says, well, our life sucks, is because they're under a leader that says, I'm great, you're not. And if you have an organization that says, I'm great, you're not, they're under a leader that says, we're great, they're not. To get an organization to say, we're all great and we can do great things, which is exactly what I heard here this morning, which is a great thing for Cleveland, Ohio. It's called Greyt, exactly. That's the highest level you can get to. And our team and our tribal leaders with us wanted to create a culture that was like that. And so the vision that we created together was, together, we create a better life. Seems really simple. Together, we come together. We create a better life for our employees, for our customers, for our community. And we knew to do this, we had to have behaviors. The behaviors, trust, empowerment, collaboration, and most important, we just wanted to have fun. So, sounds pretty simple, not so simple, but we brought this throughout our whole entire organization with our tribal leaders. And people say, at least what we read, studies say it takes about 6 months to a year to even see any cultural change, and 2 to 3 years for it actually to really start moving. And that's what we saw. We saw some anecdotal things. Our employee numbers rose a little bit, but we didn't see that much. And one of the things that was really concerning to me, which was brought up by others, our team actually wasn't quite together at all. And unfortunately, which was kind of tough for me, I found out it actually was because of me. And it was just a few people, okay, good, you relate with me. I know, we're not perfect. So, and you know what I realized, it was just a couple of people, even though I think I'm inclusive, I wasn't listening. And I'm looking at Ryan, because you probably know these traits about me. I wasn't listening, I didn't let go, and I didn't trust. And it was really only until I changed that this small group of people changed. And again, I'm not going to say the whole culture changed because of me, but our team changed. And from that, their team changed. And it was a ripple effect. So in December 2022, I retired. And at that time, the results that we saw, I thought were really encouraging. Our safety incident rates, down by 75%. Our employee engagement rate, up. Our customer rates, up. But for me, the biggest thing were at least the most emotional things for me, it was the emails I got from people saying, Jean, thank you so much for everything you and your team have done. You have created an innovative, open, safe culture that I'm proud to be part of. And so that was like the best retirement gift I could get. And you know, here's what I take from this. If you want to change culture, you know, do what the books say. Get your vision. Make sure you have the right behaviors. Make sure you measure. Make sure you have those influential leaders around with you. But most importantly, know that you're going to need to change. Because what I have found that when I change, my entire environment changes. And with that, anything is possible. Thank you.